Joining us now for more is the president of Refugees International and former lead official at USAID for COVID-19, Jeremy Konyndyk. Thank you so much for your time, sir. You also were the director of USAID's Office of Foreign Disaster Assistance under President Obama. A former USAID employee told ABC News people are going to die because of how they're doing this. Your response to what many are calling the hostile takeover of USAID?
I think that's an accurate way to characterize it. USAID every day saves lives around the world on behalf of the American people, whether that is in disaster zones, deploying teams after earthquakes to pull people from the rubble, fighting famine right now in Sudan, providing urgent medical care amidst the ceasefire in Gaza, and also longer-term work through the Global Health Bureau, things like keeping 20 million people who have HIV on antiretroviral drugs to keep their infection suppressed so they can live their lives. These are the critical things that USAID does all around the world every day. All of those are now badly disrupted. All of those are now at risk.
Now, we might be here for a while if you listed off all the important work USAID has done around the world. 25 million lives saved from HIV, beating Ebola, expanding child literacy. What are you hearing tonight from former colleagues who made helping others with the backing of our government their life's work?
Well, they feel abused. They feel betrayed. There are staff who are deployed on disaster and humanitarian responses around the world on behalf of the U.S. government who tonight and last night, with no preamble, no warning, and no communication, were kicked off their email, kicked off their U.S. government computer systems. They don't know if they are still government employees. They are now in disaster zones and crisis zones, unsure whether they are still even under embassy protection. It's incredibly, incredibly dangerous, and it is incredibly disrespectful to people who have gone into dangerous places to serve their country.
Talk about the soft power America has been able to wield through USAID.
It is human rights work, supporting human rights defenders, supporting democracy activists. It really runs the gamut of everything from health and disaster relief to long-term economic development. It's also a really critical way that the U.S. just shows up in the world vis-a-vis some of our geopolitical rivals. So one of the things that I'm very worried about is the ways in which rivals of the United States will take advantage of the vacuum left if USAID is pulled from the field.
Why do you think the Trump administration is specifically targeting USAID? Its $50 billion budget, after all, is really a small fraction of the overall government expenditures.
Well, it is certainly not about saving money. The USAID budget is less than 1% of the federal budget. That is a rounding error relative to the size of our deficit. It's far less than the tax cuts that Trump passed in his first term. I suspect what it is a soft target. They assume not too many people are going to stand up for foreign aid. It's an easy thing to caricature and demonize. And the playbook that they are running here at USAID, which is a playbook by which an unelected private citizen with cover from the president can go in and just destroy an independent federal agency without any sort of congressional oversight and without any sort of restraints from the law. That is a really, really dangerous playbook. And I think they're assuming that if they can get away with it at USAID, they can export that model elsewhere.
I understand Refugees International does not receive money directly from USAID, but if this funding pause continues, is it even possible for organizations like yours to pick up the slack?
Well, I think if this goes forward, it really is an extinction level event for the global aid sector in the United States and really for much of the global relief and development sector around the world. The U.S. is the largest single development donor, the largest single humanitarian donor. And if that goes away, there's no way that others can fill that gap. But it will also destabilize the budgets of many of the largest aid organizations and UN organizations around the world. So, it threatens really the collapse, not just of what USAID does, but of this huge ecosystem of relief and development organizations that are doing good around the world every day.
Jeremy Konyndyk, we thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.